Hello everyone. I thought we might take a stab at this water scene today, which looks like it could be fun. So very little red. I'm going to focus on greens and yellows with some blue and just put the red in ever so slightly and delicately. So I've taken out this lady. I like the idea of just one person on there, and her body is just kind of nebulous. And I have drawn in where the white trees or the light trees are, so I can try and work around those a little bit. But the rest of it is just going to kind of be random at this point. So we're going to start by the sky. We're going to do that. Then we're going to come down, and while that's setting up, we're going to put in the water. And I'm going to try some experiments with that, because it's always good to try new things. Okay, here we go. So the color blue that I'm going to use is it's a bit of a greeny blue. I don't want to do French ultramarine without adding some green to it. It just is too soft. So, and I don't want the sky to be that important. So a little French ultra, and use cobalt if you want. And I'm going to throw in some vermillion or some manganese to kind of green it up a little bit. All right, let's see what we got here. Move my water, it's way too far away. All right, I'm gonna lift up some of that color. It's just too much, not enough white. Let's tip it up. Let that color run down, and then I'm just going to wipe it off. Remembering that it's going to dry lighter. Than we put on. I could probably still do even a little more water. Let it drop. You can see where my brush line is, but that's going to disappear behind the. There we go. Nice and soft. Okay. So this line that's here, I'm not worried about it because it's going to disappear behind the color. And it's so very light. It's good. Okay, let's go down to the water now. We've got this kind of green color. Don't worry about this white because I'm going to try something with this. Let's worry about the green. So it's kind of there's a really great color called Cascade green, which has a lot of French ultra in it. and I'm going to use that. So here's Cascade green. Here's the green of our water. You can see it's really the reflection up in what's behind it. And so this is a good green for this with some occasional blue put in. Let's see what we can do with it. Oh shoot, I just put my brush in the wrong color. All right. So I'm also going to make a puddle of manganese or cerulean. Either one will work. And I'm not going to worry about all this linear stuff going sideways right now. I'm thinking more of the color kind of coming down in these areas, as you'll see when I send you the picture. All right. This is a 1-inch scepter gold. All right, let's get some of that turquoise in there now. Leaving some of that nice sparkle in there. As I drag that brush right through. If you don't like the little water sparkles, then take them out. And I do want it darker here. Now what I'm going to do is try and pull some of this color out where the boat is. I've got a paper towel here next to the paper. And we've got a tree coming down there, which pretty much there. We got one over here too. It's interesting how my mental eye picked those up. I'm gonna need to put some color in here for his coat. This one comes really close up here. All right, we got a little bit of blue for his blue jeans there, so we need to put that in. And a little bit of purple for his jacket. Pull these lines a little bit. This has got a pretty strong line here. Now, if you want to go in and put some of the cross lines in, you can. Using a I'm going to let that dry and see how it looks. We got some settling down here. I'm going to get rid of that. All right, now while that's drying, so you can see the trees here. And the only way I'm going to be able to get very cold. The only way I'm going to be able to get this random pattern up here is by splattering. Down here we'll be able to do more painterly stuff, but up here I don't see any other way to do it without splattering. So I'm going to take some paper towels and lay them where I don't want it to go, which is really pretty much down here, I think. I think I'll just worry about that. There we go. All right, I'm going to put away my flat brushes. And the bigger the brush you use for splatter, the bigger the splatter you're going to get. And I'm not sure I want a big splatter this time. So I think I'm going to come down to a slightly smaller, let's see what we got here. I think this is a 10. I'm going to give this a try and see what we do. I'm looking for my toothbrush because it gives a nice fine splatter. It's a nice old toothbrush, not one with the plastic bits to it. Well, this has got some mask in it, but that won't matter because the plastic bits don't make an even splash. So just a regular old toothbrush and a number 10. Let's see what happens with this. Maybe we'll start down here a little bit with the yellow. So it's a warm yellow. I'm going to use new gamboge, and I'm going to use lemon. and I'm going to use Queen Gold. Still a little wet. So it needs to be pretty juicy. You're not going to be able to you can see where it's still wet in there. That's all right. All right, let's bring in a little bit of lemon. And after I get the big spots in, then I'm going to come in with the toothbrush. I see how the paper has kind of warped into the middle here because it's still wet, and that's why this part is not as dry. But you will have time to do that for dry yours. All right, let's try a little bit of Queen Gold. Diluted. All right, and I'm going to put in some where the reds are. I'm going in with organic vermilion up here. Oop. And over here. Now this is going to take a couple of layers. Hang in there because this isn't nearly done. When you look at the picture, there's parts of it that are pretty dense, and we will get that in just a minute. All right, not going to use the toothbrush yet. I am going to use my fine spray. Which is going to cause it to spread. And we need to put some green in. I'm going to come in with that some of this will come in and paint later. So most of this lower part will come in and we'll do with brushwork and water. But look at this nice effect up here we're getting. Who would have guessed, right? Very feathery looking. I think it needs more yellow. More of this yellow orange. You know what? right. If you have a hairdryer, now's the time to use it to make those colors set. Don't use it on too high speed though, it will blow the paint. Look at this funny thing, it looks like a face. All right, no worries. I'm gonna lift up some of that water. And I can always come back and put that in. But I've got this nice effect up here just by splattering and then gently spraying. Now, an important thing is I got this at Walgreens. And it's an adjustable nozzle so that I can make it fine or not fine. But when you're doing something like this, you need it to be very fine. All right, let's come back here. Got our water. Shouldn't be a line there. So we can start painting with some of the green, I think. And I'm going to change brushes again. I'm coming down to an 8. And today I'm using Scepter Gold 2, which is a Winsor Newton sable synthetic blend. So sable holds the water, synthetic holds the shape. So it's a really nice brush. It's a really nice brush and mid to low price. It's very affordable. All right. So I've got my trees that are pretty white drawn in here. And I am going to put paper towels over the bottom just to protect. Using the same colors. My Cascade green, which is a combination. If you don't have Cascade green, you can get it by mixing French ultramarine and quinacridone gold. That's all it is. I use it just because it's easier than making it myself. So warm colors, this is a warm green, it's a warm red, of course the yellows are all warm. Got some grasses growing there at the edge. Now, if it's green here, it has to be green here. If it's red, this red here, it has to be the red there as well. You can't stop a color. And I'm going to come in with the toothbrush in just a minute. I want you to see where I'm going with this. And I'm going to come back and do some negative painting in here, getting this a little darker, but this is blocking in the color that's going to be there. So I do have pencil lines of green going all the way up. It starts up here, so I'm just going to don't want it a straight line though. It's never good. So these are some tree branches, some dead trees here in the front. But when it comes to my trees up here, I'm going to paint around them, but I'm also going to leave the yellow where they are because the branches are overlapped by some of the leaves. Leaving some of that linear quality to the background. When I can. Got some more fall brush in here. And there's lots more oh, I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, there's lots more dead branches in here. But I'm not paying them any mind. I'm not interested in them. Oh, look what happened up here. We don't want that. It's like some water came down, invaded our space. Move the pigment aside. Sneaky. Still really wet in there. Now the problem with that is that when you have soft edges like that, that pushes it back. We don't want to do that. I'm going to have to come back in when that's dry and redo this treatment there on that area. You can see I'm working around this tree here. It doesn't have to be real defined. It just has to be suggested. There we go. That's enough. Now I'm going to get this green in, and then there's like a light green tree in here. So I'm going to come in with my lemon and put that tree in with splatter. And what happens is when you have wet pigment and you put another pigment on top of it, it pushes that other color aside. So we're getting our nice tree in there. There's a little bit over here too. I think it's too dry to push, but you can see it gives that nice kind of foggy effect. So the yellow paint is more potent on the brush than the green was, less water, but it's enough to push that green aside and give us some kind of texturally thing back in here. Very cool. All right, moving on. All right, need to bump that up a little bit. A little more pigment in there. Let's put some lines in there as well. A little bit too much there. All right, then on this side of the tree it kind of comes down. But it's fluffy in front of this tree, this stump thing, which I can't really tell what it is. All right. Still wet. So we don't want it to look like a manicured garden. It's a woods. Now the drawing has this tree that comes up high here and it's green and it kind of is leads us off the page. So I want to bring that down. I'm not going to have it come up as high as it does in the picture. And I'm not going to make it as important. So now it's kind of coming like this, with our one spot that's not dry. All right, let's get some of the green into these big white places. I'm not going to take all the white out. It's too cool. All right, we have a bit of a delineation here. So this is darker in here. So I'm using more of a full strength color in here. And then I'm going to get lighter as I get down farther. Getting these trees out though, they're coming. So down to about here. Okay, let's get some red in there. Keeping it fairly strong. All right. Gonna throw some of my lemon yellow. Hansia yellow works too down into this. Nicolazo would work as well to get just a lighter feel down here. The tree bottoms are kind of vague, covered up. So the grass is kind of stopped here. Turn kind of brownish. And I'm going to come in a minute and do my same yellow splash in here. And we got some darker brown, so we need some darker color here. The yellow there, we got the yellow there. All right, so we got that kind of sparkly color through there. Now we've got these grasses over here we need to worry about. All right, that's pretty strong. It's not quite what I want. Let's see if we can get this to do what we want. Come back in later and put those blades of grass in. We don't need to do that right now. We're just blocking in color, giving it the feel. So normally you don't want to put something dead center, but in this particular case, I kind of liked it. So you may want to make this a horizontal painting. That's fine too. You may want to put two people in. You may want to move him over so he's sideways. You got options. Always have options. I don't want this too detailed because this is the woods. This is rustic. A stronger green there. Get this yellow coming in. Put some behind there. Like I messed that up. That's all right. Like we got some spots over here that need some renewal. Okay, so this is sky. This isn't places where it's mist. Now we're going to let this dry. And we're going to come back and put in the tree branches, which I'm going to use a little guy for. This is, I don't know what this is. This is small. This is small, but we need small. So I'm going to take my red. So really, we're only using 4 colors. We're using organic vermilion, which is the same as Scarlet Lake, lemon yellow, new gamboge, which is a warm yellow, and the green. Well, we used a little bit of manganese or cerulean. I don't know which one that is up there, but the cascade green. So really, we're not using a lot of colors after we got that blue on. It's very, very simple. Okay. It's going to be tricky because I'm probably going to put my hands in it. So let's mix up some brown. But I mix in my green and my red. And got me a nice brown over here. You can make it a reddish brown, you can make it greenish brown. All right, the tree comes up. Now this is still a little wet, so I'm not going to worry about that, but I want to show you how to get those branches in, and I'm just going to paint up to there, right? And paint through. I'm letting the yellow stand for itself. All right, let's have one come this way. This one up, which is the main leader, comes through. Now we got a pretty heavy spot there, so too much on the brush. Kind of goes off. So you're not painting on the yellow, you're really painting on the color behind there, intersecting as it goes through. So I'm just going to put the main tree branch in. This is a little bit wider down here. It's always wider as it gets towards the trunk. And we have an actual brown tree back there. So let's put that in. I'm going to put it right here. And it kind of goes off this way. And it goes off this way. So I'm not putting any black in. Come down here. So the tree magically disappears in there. That's still a little bit wet. But it makes these light colors move forward. Way fun, way fun. Okay, so I still have a little bit of color on my brush because the tree up here does get a little bit brown. Maybe even a little green. Put this color in, and then I'm going to take it out. So it just feels like a suggestion of a color. Put some color on there, that moves that one back. So we can tell by the guy's jacket, the light is coming this way. So we have light and reflection. All right, I think you have the idea. I'm going to do the boat and the guy's coat. And some quick a little bit of detail in here. So play around with there. Don't just do one color. Let these lovely colors that we're playing with, let them carry through the painting. All right, let's do the boat. And I'm mixing a little bit of the green, so his jacket is moonglow. So I'm using the moonglow, and there's some shadows coming down. One here. And one here. This one just kind of rolls right over here to the end. And we got a little bit of shadow here. When that dries, I will come in and make a slightly darker line here and here, although it could go there. So first I'm going to just paint the jacket all one shade, and then I'll come back and put the darker color in. And as soon as that's dry, you could put the blue in. So now this kind of relates. It's a little off kilter, but you got the idea. We got his face to worry about too, but I'm reluctant to put that in. It's going to bleed. But I'm going to use our same colors. Mostly I can put the brown in later. Let's come in with our dark. Put that, looks like I missed a little purple there. I'll come back and get that. Put that there, and then the bottom of the paddle is red. And then there's some white, and then I think there's some red again. Yeah, well, let's see if we can do it. No, not yet. So every layer you add is going to give more depth to that background. Gonna let that just dry. Yeah, we've got a bit of a color there, color there. Under his collar and whole top of his sleeve comes down. And I'll do this yet one more time once this is dry to put the really darks in. That's a little too pink. I think that's all we need there. The front of his hair. Oh, this is bleeding up. Gotta wait on that. This is actually darker. You don't want to make it too strong, and you get nervous about it. But if you don't make it strong enough, it doesn't work. All right, we're gonna let him be for a minute. I think this is enough to get you going and to develop it any way you want. And there's no mistakes here. It doesn't have to be exactly like your picture. It has to only feel like your picture. So dive in and have a really good time.